This episode of the Blindside Podcast contains language that might be offensive to some listeners. Listener discretion is advised. This is Blind Metal Gamer, and you're listening to the Blindside Podcast, streamed live at twitch.tv/Blind Metal Gamer. Hello everyone, Blind Metal Gamer along with Kaira Super Saiyan. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing great. Hey Kaira, how you doing?
Doing well, Blind Metal Gamer. It's been a while since we've had one of our talks. Tonight we had something special planned, but you know how plans with COVID.
They go awry and do all that stuff. So tonight's plan is this. The topic is playable for all. Does gaming help your social skills?
That's right. And as two disabled people who have had trouble with social skills in the past, we thought this would be a fun topic for any of you guys who have felt the same way we have.
Yes. I believe that gaming, while stereotyped as a hobby for those who are antisocial, it's usually stereotyped for those who are not a very social person, and it's usually given the stereotype of a lazy person's hobby. All those stereotypes to me, I disagree with them because with gaming, you don't only get, you get the hand-eye coordination piece, which is great.
Yeah.
But if given the right circumstances, social skills can be helped, can be improved, I think.
I totally agree with you. As someone who is on the autism spectrum, I can testify that that gaming definitely does improve social skills.
Yes, it does. I mean, because you got, I remember back in the day there was arcades you could go to, and you would hang out with all your buddies or whatever, and make new ones, and actually get to trade secrets and whatnot.
And then there were people like me who played The Sims on the computer, and through simulations we would teach ourselves the social skills we needed to function in society.
Yes, I mean, oh yes. The Sims is a good tool for that, and then a tool for what not to do in society is the Grand Theft Auto games.
Yeah, and not only that, it's not just for disabled people either. My brother, who is a neurotypical, which for those of you who don't know what a neurotypical is a non-disabled person.
Right.
He actually has made friends through online gaming. Gaming in general can just bring people together and improve your social skills in many, many different ways, whether it's learning how to deal with the trolls in life or learning social skills through simulation or making new friends at the arcade. Gaming can bridge that gap that is missing in your life through a multitude of ways.
Yes, it can. And now with the way the world is today, online gaming is a big thing, and social distancing. Online gaming is something that's actually being used, if used in the right circumstance, can help your social skills because you're interacting with other people, you're playing against other people, and yeah, you meet trolls and you meet all these jerks, but that's life. I mean, being in a virtual world like that, or being hooked up through cyberspace, can help you because, okay, let's say you're out in the real world. Let's say you're at your job and you meet a troll. What do? Okay, you can hark back to what you did on the video game. You just apply what you did there to the real world.
Exactly. And it's not just online gaming either. It can be gaming in a real life setting. It can be through a game jam, which is where you sit down and create your own game, or it can be or it can be just through gaming with other people. They're people in a simulation. The possibilities are endless. And even the world's most popular games have tried to bring people together through online at some point. The Sims actually had an online server for this exact purpose at one point. But unfortunately, it was above its time. No, not above its time. Tongue
It was
tied.
ahead of its time.
Ahead of its time. I was going to say before its time, but yes, it was ahead of its time. It just couldn't make it. But now they're talking about bringing back that feature with Sims 5 whenever that may come out. That
Oh my
subject
God. They
to
bring
be
that out.
continued.
Yeah, they bring that out, especially with the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and the Switch. I
Yeah.
mean, just imagine it could be like Grand Theft Auto Online. But
Well, it could be with the Xbox gaming app on PC with Windows 11, it could
mhm,
honestly it could honestly have some really good benefits, I think. I think The Sims Online was a project, Jake, that started when the original Sims was out. It started in between The Sims and The Sims 2, which is why, there wasn't enough demand for it at the time. Fast forward now, we are in The Sims 4. It's 4, which is full of so many issues. Where where people are getting on Discord servers and community forums to rooms and Facebook groups
to
to
fix
be
them.
together
Oh
there as a
yeah.
community. We need an online function in the next iteration, I believe.
Oh yeah, that would help. I mean, then you've got the FGC and Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Tekken, the WWE, which WWE 2K22 is coming out in a month and
Yeah.
a month and a day.
And then you've
On
got the online multiplayer feature, like in the now defunct Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, and I'm sorry, I thought I had another example on my brain, but unfortunately my
and
brain just went.
you've got like I said, there's Grand Theft Auto Online, which right now is fixing to get a PS5 upgrade, and
Yeah,
it's going to be a PS Plus game for March. So come on. Don't tell me online gaming doesn't help your social skills. It can if used
it
in the right way.
can so
But
much. You learn how to interact with people, and even
hmm
and I once had a therapist argue to me, The Sims makes you a control freak by putting you in control of other people, and I'm like, no, that's not it at all.
they
It
don't
at
know what
all.
they're talking about. The Sims let
The
you build
Sims
your
taught me
own.
how to both properly and appropriately interact with people so that I would know, okay, this is the right way to interact with people, or yes, this is the right way to interact with people.
Yeah, it can teach both the right and wrong way to do things.
Exactly. It's a
Like
simulation. That's
I
what it's
was,
supposed to do.
well, the reason why I brought up Grand Theft Auto is because again, in that game, even in offline mode, I know our focus is online, but even in the offline mode, okay, what happens when you commit a crime? You go to jail. What happens when you commit a crime in
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto? The cops come after you, and when they catch you, you go to jail in the game.
Yeah.
And it can be done. People give Grand Theft Auto this big rap of, oh, it's to blame for all these kids being violent. It's to blame for all these kids doing violent things to people. Well, part of that has to go beyond the parents too, because if the parents
Exactly.
would use the game as a teaching tool, and again, I'm not a parent myself, and neither are
And neither
you.
am I.
Right, we're not parents, but just use common sense. Okay, if we had kids, if it were me, I would sit them down. I would say, okay, I'm going to show you what happens through this game, what could happen in real life if you're bad.
Exactly. And The Sims is another great example of this. Your house can get burglarized.
Hmm.
Your home can get infested with bugs. Your you can have fires happen. It's just one of those games where you can sit down and you can teach them, okay, look, these are the kind of things that can happen if you don't take care of yourself, of yourself, or if you don't have enough, and this is what can happen if you don't have enough money. I mean, the
Right. There's so
possibilities
many
are
life
endless.
applications. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's so many life applications that can be used here. But people just aren't getting it and they're blaming it. Oh, this is violent. This is
yeah, it
this they're
makes you
just
control freak. This game's too violent. This game makes you control freak.
no. No.
No.
Get this, I had a psychologist tell me that video game, and this was when I was a younger in my teen years,
Uh
that
huh.
video games made me angry and made me want to lash out violently. That's I'm gonna yeah, that's a bunch of bullshit because um that ain't true. I mean, granted, if you look at
No.
at all these cases of oh this happened or oh this happened, well here's the way I look at it. It ain't the game's fault at all
No, it's not
because
the game's fault. At the end of the day, you're in control of your actions. Yes, there is such a
mhm,
thing as video game addiction, but no, it's not the game that makes you do this stuff.
no, it's not.
Checkmark. Live online under the game talk shows and podcasts. The
No, it's not. I mean, it's not at all. I mean, it could be anything. I mean, it could be a broken home situation. It could be a family situation, and you
It could
get,
be mental illness. For me, what was making me lash out wasn't the video game, it was mania. I was manic and high as a well, no, I wasn't high. Take that, scrap that. We'll need to edit that part out. No,
no,
for me it was mania. I was on a I was on a I was honestly on a power high. We're high.
hmm
I wasn't I was on a power high from playing the game constantly. Constantly. It
hmm
was not the game that was making me lash out. It was the fact that I was an undiagnosed bipolar at the time.
oh boy, but the point is that psychologist was wrong. I mean, because the
Exactly.
game doesn't make you lash out. It's it goes back to like I said, the parent that you have and the way you're brought up. Now,
Yeah.
as for online gaming, I'll give a story about how online gaming got me a bunch of friends I have still have this day. It takes place in 2006. My mother and I were talking, and the PS2 was still out at this time. And I said, Mom, I want to do the online gaming. I want to do this because I think I could meet some pretty cool people, and it would help me socially. It would help me make new friends. Because with Kyra and I having disabilities, things like transportation and things are a bit of a challenge. So online gaming is a good way to socialize and connect. So we did our research, and I got what I needed. And my late brother helped me get it all set up. And he's like, "You better realize how much I love you for doing this," because he had to crawl into the house and do cable rigged up and all this stuff for it to work. And he's like, I'm like, yeah, I know. He's like, come on, let's fire it up. So we fired it up and we set it up together, and then we got me rolling. In the first game I play online, and this is a thing for me, Mortal Kombat's always been a game of firsts.
Mhm.
That was the first Mortal Kombat Deception was the first game I ever played online on PS2
Yeah.
in 2006, and I made so many new friends. My
Yeah.
buddy, shout out to Six and East. If you've got a chance to check him out on Twitch or on YouTube, go check him out. He's awesome. And then Headlocked Gaming is awesome. I've known him for years as well.
Yeah.
But see, I met them. How did I meet them? Gaming online.
Yeah, and for me, online for me, not online gaming, but just playing The Sims, it gave me a way to connect with my sister, who I've always had a rocky relationship with. I love
Mm-hmm.
you, Caitlin, but you and I, ugh, we are like cats and dogs. Some dogs. But
Mm-mm.
anyway, off topic. It gave me a way to get closer to my sister. It gave me a way, and when it wasn't The Sims, and it was another video game. Again, closer to my sister, closer to my little cousin who loves online gaming to this day.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, and I didn't play online games with my little cousin, but it would be like, um, when I was a kid, like if I needed help on a boss battle on a video game, my cousin just happened to be in town, and he is like 9 years younger than me, and he's better
mhm,
at me than video games than I will ever be. I'd be like, Lucian, come here, I need your help beating this boss. And so this was like this instant connection between me and my cousin, or like if there was a level I was too scared to play by myself. uh like for example, the Komodo Joe boss fight in the original Crash Team Racing, not Nitro Fuel, but Crash Team Racing.
mhm,
Because I thought Komodo Joe was a snake at the time, not a
mhm,
Komodo dragon, because he looked and sounded like a giant snake.
mhm,
I'd be like, Caitlin, can you do this boss battle for me? So yeah, I'd get my sister's help.
mhm. Oh yeah, see, even family connections, even for offline gaming. So yeah, I mean, it helps in that way too. I remember,
Yeah. And
that.
now, there's Pokemon Go, and like
Oh
I
yeah,
haven't met these people in person with the exception of like maybe two or three of them, but
hmm, yeah,
I will never meet, and but we are community, and they are my friends. Are my friends. I have between Facebook and the local group me chat, for my college campus, because I have friends from all over the state and heck all over the country and even all over the world. I
oh yeah.
remember getting so excited getting my first shiny Pokemon, and it came all the way from Tuscany, Italy. Oh my god, I was so excited.
Nice. Now I remember with me, like friends, you talk about worldly friendships and online gaming. I mean, I met, through gaming online, I met people from England, from Japan. There was a guy from Japan that he wanted me to help him with his English. I said, okay, we'll plan to help you with English. No big deal.
Yeah.
And I met a guy from Germany who loved black metal. He loved Norwegian black metal. And
That reminds me of how
when,
not to get off topic, but that reminds me when I was in art class one semester, we actually had to use Swedish death metal as part of a piece.
hmm oh dear God, I bet you just love that.
He's teasing me because I hate metal with a passion.
hmm Oh boy. So yeah, like with meeting that guy from Germany, his English was okay, but he, like when Lemmy from Motorhead died. What was I doing when I found out the news? I was streaming on YouTube, and who was the one that notified me? The guy from Germany. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God. And then through online gaming, as far as social skills, you can even set it to where if you don't want the child or person in a public match or room because you're feared that they might get trolled or made fun of, and you want to control the environment, you can do that. You
Yeah.
you can control that environment to where, okay, you can play with your friends. That way the trolls can't get you, the bullies can't come after you. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I think the online gaming is a good thing. I think it helps with social skills for people with and without disabilities.
Not only that, online gaming can also let you, not just online gaming, online and offline gaming can let you express yourself in so many ways.
Yes, it does. Yes, it can.
I remember getting a sense of euphoria when I discovered the gender customization options on The Sims for the first time. And I'm like, they're actually doing this in an update? That's phenomenal. And I was one of the people that was like so excited for this.
For me, as far as expression, when I started gaming online back in '06, I mean, for those of you who don't know who might be listening, I'm a huge wrestling fan. And
Yeah.
I had WWE, I believe it was SmackDown versus Raw 2000, the original. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was the original because I didn't get '06 until it came out. So I got an SVR and I was online. I was seeing all these creations. I was like, oh my god! I saw everything from Barney the Dinosaur to Power Rangers to Ninja Turtles to men in prison suits. You name it, I saw it. And now with the WWE 2K22 coming out in just a little over a month, it's going to be on current and next gen consoles, and the download piece for the community is going to be cross platform. That's going to be nuts, Kyra. Just think about it. We
Yeah,
talked about connecting and bringing people together. That's going to bring people together like never before.
yeah.
I
Oh my
mean,
god! Speaking of cross-platform, that reminds me. That just reminds me of like console to console connection that you used to have to do back in the '90s with your
oh
PlayStation One or
god,
your Game Boy through Game Boy Advance. Oh my god!
I
Such a
never,
hassle, but so much fun.
I never did that myself. I've always been a
I
one
only did it
console
with
at a
my
time
Game Boy.
pass.
I never had. We didn't have a second PlayStation to do it with for our console, but it was such a hassle to do it through to do it on the Game Boy. But once you connected with the connector cable on Game Boy, totally worth it. That was the only way you could trade Pokemon back then.
I remember hearing about that. Now you just do it over Wi-Fi. I mean,
Yeah, the only bad thing is Pokemon Go is restricted to like proximity location, unlike the
uh,
consoles where you can do it from like where you can do it
anywhere.
where anywhere. I
Hmm.
actually remember getting my now Alakazam on in
Hmm.
Pokemon Pearl when someone just randomly did we or I just found some random NPC in the game and they said, "Do you have such?" I don't even remember what the Pokemon I traded was for the love of I don't remember, but they're like, I think it was like a Machop or something, and they're like, "No, it
Hmm.
couldn't have been a Machop, no, because this was
One viewers.
whatever," and they're like, "Do you have the Pokemon? Do you have such and such Pokemon?" And I said, "Yes," and so they traded me their Abra, and next thing I knew, I had a Kadabra, and oh
Nice.
my god, that was so much fun. And that was not like and that was not an NPC as it turns out. It was some random player that had embedded its way in my game.
See, that's how it can be a good thing. I mean, you hear all these horror stories about people getting swatted and people getting, all this crap happening to them,
Yeah.
and you don't, the good kind of gets buried under the bad. So, like with me, like with the community creations, I actually needed a couple guys created for, I believe it was SmackDown versus Raw. I believe it was one of the PS3 SmackDown versus Raws, and a guy online helped
Yeah.
me make them. It was Matt Barlow and Tim Ripper
Yeah.
Owens. That's who it was. It was Matt Barlow and Tim Owens. I was gonna have them face off as part from my highlight reel for YouTube.
Uh-huh.
This was back in my early days of YouTube, and they helped me make
Yeah.
them. So, and I didn't have to do anything in return. Like, okay, I've got a more recent story for you, and for the listeners. Okay, Action Arcade Wrestling recently came to PS4 and Xbox One this past year, right? So I
Mhm.
buy it. I'm like, where's the Wrestle Lab? Why can I not make anything? Turns out the Wrestle Lab is a PC only companion app that is compatible with the game on console. I was not happy because, I like my creation suites in that console. You know what I mean? To where I can do
Yeah.
it in house. But the thing with the PC app is there's so much more you can do. There's so much more you can do. So
Yeah.
I
Sometimes
needed,
one console will be supreme, will be superior as compared to another. Like I just learned today, for example, with Crash Tag Team Racing, which is
mhm,
a bit of a controversial addition to the Crash Bandicoot lineup of games,
mhm,
had two extra battle arenas you could play in that were
mhm.
exclusive to the PSP, but could be played on PS2 if you had a way to port your PSP game.
Oh,
which
yep. I remember SmackDown versus Raw 6 was the same way.
yeah.
You could
And
get Jake
so
Roberts,
like
but you
that
had to
would
get
have
in
made
through
if I had
PSP. It was
known
like,
if I had known those extra two levels that had existed and were playable, I wish they could have been playable in the full game across all consoles because that would have been freaking awesome. Because there's only two
mhm.
battle arenas in tag team racing, and I'm like, seriously, there's only two of these things, and I loved one of the battle arenas in tag team racing, but I'm like, I'd love to have more of this kind of shit.
Yeah, I know. It's like, you go on and you do that and you have all this stuff. And I mean, come on, people. I mean, that in a way, doing that alienates a player base right there. Now,
Yeah,
as for the online component, okay, I needed some help getting some arenas for the game, right?
right.
A guy on Facebook said, "Okay, what do you need? Tell me the specs." So I messaged them in Messenger, told them what I needed for each arena, what I wanted it to be called, and he made them for me. And I said, "Well, do you want me to do something for you in return?" He said, "No." I said, "Well, how about this? I'll give you a shout." He was on Xbox. I said,
Hmm.
"Okay, I'll give you a shout out when I stream the game again as payment." He said, "That'll work." So you see what I mean? He got some free promotion. He
Yeah,
got, and that's again bringing people together.
exactly.
Now, there's also a side to online gaming that is a bit dark, and that's the trolls. Do you have any troll stories?
Oh God. No, I do not. I do not. I do not. My trolls, personally have existed in real life, unfortunately, which is a shame. But I know you have troll stories.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna tell some of them right now. We're gonna get this. Okay, I was streaming. This was back when I first started streaming. I was doing YouTube, thinking, okay, no big deal. I was not under the name I'm under now, but I was under another name, my real name. I'm thinking,
Hmm.
okay, my friends can find it, my colleagues can find it, everybody can
Yeah.
watch me. Then some jerk started putting, I'll just say some information of mine in the chat. I'm like, what the hell? And they kept on doing it. And one of my friends, who is typical, she's typically developing, she's cited. She goes, Blind Metal Gamer, you might want to end this stream. I ended it, and she asked, was that where you resign? I said, resigned? I said, oh shit. Turns out they had gotten that information and was putting it in the chat. So
Oh no,
they kept doing it, and then they ended up.
you got doxxed.
I don't think I got doxxed. I think they got it because see, me and another friend of mine did an experiment and just did a search of my name, and it popped right up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I don't think I got doxxed. I could have, but anyway. So time goes on, and on May 19th, 2018, at 10:30 p.m., I'm scrambling to get everything deleted. I'm scrambling, freaking out. What the hell? And my mom comes and asks, "Did you order a pizza?" No. This was at 10:30 at night.
Uh huh.
I'm like, really? Who the fuck would do this? It was. Turns out they were trolling me because they didn't like my streams. And the friend that helped me to determine what was in the chat, they basically got their information, made a fake account with their name on it, and said things that would not be acceptable in any type of environment of
Oh
that
God.
nature, or this one, which I will not repeat here.
Mhm.
And if her work would have found out, then they could have got fired.
That's real. That's not good at all.
So
That's
I go to YouTube. So I had to take everything down. Okay, everything had to be deleted. And then I thought, okay, what am I going to do now? I got to rebuild from scratch.
yeah.
So I made my alias. I did all that and got everything rebuilt. And I thought, okay, I'll use Twitch as my streaming service because I can actually get them douchebags out of there quick. And
Yeah.
which I use Twitch. That's why I use Twitch. And again, bringing people together. I've got some friends on there that I've made, that are followers. And the troll problem I had went away because when Twitch bans somebody, they don't play. They ban you quick.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing I do like about Twitch.
Yeah, and they have other security measures in place to prevent that stuff. And with YouTube, I tried to reach out to them. They did nothing. So I just said, okay, I'll just
Oh,
use.
YouTube is shit. YouTube took down tried to take down my account over a private unlisted video that was for a school project. And I'm like, and I appealed the decision and I said, look, this was an unlisted video for a school project. You give me my access back right now, or I will be pissed. Oh, I
And
didn't actually say that last statement, but
yeah,
regardless, they
you were.
realized they made a mistake and they're like, oh, well, this person didn't violate any community standards whatsoever.
See, that's what I like about Twitch. You can. Yeah, I've been copyright claimed on YouTube, sure. But,
Oh, you talk about
oh,
copyright claims.
God.
Lord, I got a story about that.
Oh,
Guys,
yeah.
be careful what you put online.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had an original character that I generated in The Sims 4's
Mhm.
creative sim software. Totally unique. Totally unique. I own the copyright to her, and I used her in Wattpad, the fan fiction site, right? Uploaded the design to
Mhm.
Wattpad, created a biography for her,
Mhm.
used her, claimed copyright on her and everything.
Mhm.
And then Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comes out. And there's a carbon copy of my character
Oh, shit.
turned evil with a different name in the TV series. She has the exact same shade of pink, the exact same shade of lilac that I gave
Mhm.
my character's hair.
Mhm.
And it's the right skin tone. The only difference is they gave her a beauty mark, and they dressed her
Mhm.
differently and made her evil. I'm like, y'all took my character. My character was a computer whiz, a computer whiz
Mhm.
to pair with Donatello.
Mhm.
And what does this girl do? She's an evil computer genius, a computer hacker.
So, did you dispute this? Did you go
Nope,
and you
nope.
didn't go and confront Nickelodeon? I would have.
I didn't do it because I knew I would lose the legal battle like that.
Oh yeah, I forgot they have money. It's called money.
Yeah, so I let it go, but I let it go, but I will never stop
Mhm.
telling that story because what Nickelodeon did is copyright infringement. They know it. I know it.
Mhm.
I just don't have proof.
Mhm. Like
So,
with me, and for those of you who don't know, I do game streaming here on Twitch as well. And when I game stream, some of the games I have to be careful of with licensed music. I've had some instances where I've gotten copyright claims for licensed music. So
mhm,
one of the first things I check for when I go to fire up a game like Dying Light 2,
mhm,
okay, it has a streamer mode. Thank God.
yeah,
Again, online, bringing people together. We bring people together through your streams or through your YouTube videos. I've got on my YouTube, I've got people that like my channel, and I've got a story to share. There's one, by the way, shout out to the Wave Report when I tell this story. He had, done a reading of the first Mortal Kombat X comic
mhm,
and done sound effects for it, and made it really cool and dramatic.
yeah,
And he was going to give up. I said, dude, I wrote a comment. I said, man, I really love this. You're bringing these comics to a whole new group of people that might have disabilities, that might, like with me, I'm visually impaired. I couldn't read a comic to save my life because of the way that they're paneled. Okay, what does that do? That brings me into the fold. It makes it accessible to me. It would make it
yeah,
accessible to someone with dyslexia. It would make it accessible to someone who might have intellectual disability. You know,
or
who
or even someone who can read who just can't read a comic worth a lick.
Yeah, I mean exactly. And I said, man, don't just give up. I said, keep doing this. Do the sound effects. Maybe branch out to other comic series too. and really make it its own thing. He said, I was thinking about giving this up. He said, but after reading this, I'm going to continue.
Yeah.
So see, I inspired someone.
Yeah. I would also, while we're talking about shout outs, I would also like to give a shout out to Lil Simsy, who is my favorite Sims tuber at the moment. Lil Simsy created the Not So Berry challenge, which gave me a unique way to explore my gameplay in The Sims and gave me new ways to play.
Oh yeah. I mean, and here I was doing, playing like I said, WWE 2K 22 coming out in a little while. I was playing, I believe. Oh God, what was it? I believe it was 2K20, and I was like, oh my God, this is so inaccessible.
Yeah.
And then Dying Light 2. Okay, here's a
Yeah.
recent example. Dying Light 2, I fired it up. Okay, I'm going to stream it. And
Mhm.
this is on Twitch and it's on YouTube, so anybody on demand can go watch it. I raged hard on that first night because they didn't make it accessible all the way. It was there, but there was no consideration of blind people, no consideration of navigation. There's navigational assistance in the game, but
Yeah.
it's just a light that'll help you. Okay, that doesn't help if you need to know, okay, where is this thing, the marker? So what I did was, after talking with a friend, I wrote Techland and said, look, here's what could be done to make it more accessible to players. Here's some features that you might want to include in your roadmap to make it more accessible because that needs to be done.
Yeah.
And they're going to hopefully get back with me on tomorrow about that. But, that just little things. And then, again, what did that do? That brought me to them to make them aware.
Yeah. One of the earliest examples of accessibility in gaming I ever saw was Zuma's Revenge. For those of you who have not played Zuma's Revenge, it is a classic, and you can get it off of EA Origin. I think you can still get it off of there. I hope don't hold me to this, people. I may be wrong. That's where I got my copy, and it had a colorblind assist feature. So basically, just by clicking one button, you could the shading and the texture of the little balls that you fire and you're destroying change so that colorblind people can actually play the game, because these balls are not all one color. They're different colors. There's 6 different colors in the game as you get further into it, I believe.
So in other words, it let you customize the color settings. Now see, that's a good thing. Now, for me, again, online, I was on Twitter, and I heard The Last of Us 2 is coming out. One of my one of my followers recommended it. It's got a lot of accessibility features. I buy it, and then I end up meeting the guy that worked on it. Shout out to Super Blind Man, by the way. He's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, Super Blind Man totally rocks. And I'm like, dude, this is the way they all should be.
I know. Like, I attended a session for how to make games more accessible, and oh my gosh, you learn ways that you would not even normally think of to make a game more accessible. Honestly, accessibility in games should be an ADA mandate.
Yes, it should.
In my opinion. I mean, there are so many games that blind here cannot play because he can only see out of one eye. There are a lot. Whereas for me, I can play whatever games I want because I only have mental impairments that don't restrict me, unlike some people. I mean, not to say that if you have mental impairments, you can play whatever game you want, because that's not going to be the case for everyone. But for me personally, my mental impairments don't affect how I play games. The only thing that keeps me from playing a game is if the game is super hard and it sucks. I mean, hello, I game overed on level 1 of Crash Bandicoot. That's how bad I am at video games. But that's not because of my mental health or a disability. That's just because I suck at video games, and I'm okay with that.
But again, we were talking about online gaming and social skills. You know, nowadays we can go to YouTube, and if we need help, like there's a part on Dying Light 2 I'm stuck on. Okay,
Yeah.
I go to YouTube, shout out to the Red Brad. I watch his video. Now, when I fire up the game next time, I think I know what I've got to do.
Or you can go on, or it doesn't even have to be YouTube. It doesn't even have to be YouTube. Like you can, all you gotta do is go to Google
Yep.
and look up walkthrough for such and such game, and you will find
Hmm.
either a written or a visual tutorial on how to do what you're stuck on.
Now, that is cool. I think
It
that's
it doesn't
awesome.
always work. It doesn't always work because I'm so bad at video games that the tutorials don't usually help me. But
Hmm.
you know, it's still like Blind said. It's super cool that we have that option.
Right, again, bringing people together.
Yes.
And, like with, like I remember when there was a guy that when I first started playing online, he was being an asshole. He was being a little jerk, and I ripped him a new one.
Too heavy.
I ripped him a new one, and they're like, "Oh, really? Oh, wow!" So they ended up disconnecting on me.
Oh God, I
I'm
hate the
like,
random disconnectors. That's okay. So
mm-hmm,
like there are
mm-hmm.
battles in Pokemon Go, and I cannot tell you how many times I have won or lost a battle because one decided to just randomly disconnect in the middle of a
Oh
battle, and
yeah,
I'm like, you asshole. So give me the chance to prove to earn that win, or give me
yeah.
a chance.
Like I'll be playing Mortal Kombat 11, and I've got examples of this on the YouTube channel that you all can go check out now over at
Yeah,
youtube.com/blind metal gamer, where I would be playing and totally whooping someone's ass, right? And then the little jerk would quit on me, right? Well, they get a quitality and I get the win, but haha, you know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, and it's not just there either. I have heard multiple complaints from people on CTR Nitro about in the online gaming feature where people just duck out of the lobby last second, and it
Mm-hmm.
freezes the game, and it causes you to miss out on playing the feature to begin with. And I'm like, come on, dude. If you're gonna do that, you're just pissing me off. Don't do that.
Oh yeah, I mean, what I hate is again bringing people together. And no, I don't hate bringing people together. I love that part. But one aspect of online gaming that I just it really burns me up is I'll be in a match, right? They won't
Right.
even quit properly. They'll just unpull their cord just to get the game session to end. I'm like, really? You're just mad because I totally smoked you and I owned you, and you can't accept that?
Dude,
You know,
no.
oh yes, I would get that on Street Fighter 5, Mortal Kombat 11. I remember right when I first started playing online, I'd meet mostly, like I said, cool, good people. But
Hmm.
then I would meet the jerks too that would do that. I'm like, really?
Yeah,
Oh God, I wanted to just go through the headset and just. Ugh.
I cannot tell you. See, this is the downside to online gaming that I don't
Mhm.
like. See, that's the kind of thing that worries
Mhm.
me about the Sims returning to online with the Sims 5. But
Mhm.
the good news is though, what's the worst that could happen? The Sims is a simulation. The worst that could happen is you're in the middle of chatting with someone and your Sims get into a fight.
Mhm.
Man, I can't see any bad things. I can't see too many disadvantages. I just see an opportunity for a lot of trolls with
Oh yeah. Oh
Sims
yeah.
Online.
Like I know some people would troll. Like I know I was guilty of this myself back in the day. Like way back, I would
Yeah.
meet this guy that he would be real good. Like he would be cheap.
Uh-huh.
Just doing this, he would spam me.
Uh-huh.
So I'd be a jerk, and I would quit on him. I would just quit.
There was actually one time where I was convinced that an opponent in Pokemon Go was too powerful, and so I cheated, and so I quit.
Hmm.
I quit just to let the guy have the win because I knew I was going to lose in that instant. But that was
Oh
only
yeah.
because, but I only did that the one time.
Oh yeah. So it's like, but like with with online gaming and the fighting games I play, you when you go into a ranked match, you don't know who you're going to get because it's drawn at
Exactly.
random. It's like, oh dear God.
Oh no, I know, I know.
Hmm.
On that note, speaking of online gaming, there is a huge rumor that Super Smash Brothers may be coming to online for the first time this next release.
Are you talking about Super Smash Brothers Ultimate?
No, the one that's coming, the one that they're working on right now, Ultimate's already out.
Yeah, but I thought that that has online play though.
Maybe
Ultimate,
it does.
it does. It
Shit,
does.
don't ignore what I'm saying right now, y'all. I know nothing. I do not keep up with Smash, so that's my bad.
Yeah, I believe Smash does have online play. The whatever they're working on next is probably gonna. I'm hoping. I don't play Smash, but I'm hoping for the sake of those that do, it has GGPO. The gaming industry needs to leverage that.
It can, for those of us, including myself, who don't know what you just said, please elaborate.
GGPO, good game, peace out. The Cannon brothers, Tom and Tony Cannon came up with it, and what it does is it rolls back the netcode where you get a smooth as butter online gaming experience. It's using a
Oh
lot of
yeah, we
fighting
need
games.
that.
So like, okay, Mortal Kombat X. I got a story for everybody. And I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan. They give me that, I'm going to spend the money on the deluxe edition. You know that.
Yeah.
Whatever NRS comes up with, shout out to the NRS and all them folks. They come up with, I'm going to buy that sucker hands down. So I buy it, not digitally, but on disc.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually they're updating for the Combat Pack 2. What do we get?
Mm-hmm.
Rollback netcode. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
'Cause I'd heard so much good things about it that, you know, it's better than delay base. Well,
Yeah.
I've never got to experience it. When I got that in my hands, I was like, oh, damn, this is good.
Yeah.
Because now it's not as spotty. It's more like playing offline. And now
Yeah.
all their games have it. So Injustice 2 had it, MK11 has it. Whatever they're going to come out with next is going to have it. It's rumored to be MK12, but don't quote me on that because it could be, you know, that
Yeah.
could be trolling us. But yeah, rollback netcode. They need to bring that not only to fighting but to wrestling games too. Oh,
Oh my god. If honestly,
mm.
from what you're saying, it sounds like any online, any MMO
Any
game.
online game needs GGPO.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And for those of you who don't know what I said mass multiplayer online.
Yeah, massively multiplayer online role playing game. I know what
Sorry.
those are. It's all good. I don't play those because most of the time you have to pay a subscription fee. I'm out. Not doing it.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, I actually have. That's
Hmm.
actually why I never got around to playing my Destiny game because I need Xbox Live Gold. And I'm like, dude, no, I'm not paying for Xbox Live Gold.
Yeah, don't feel bad because to play online with PlayStation now, you have to have PlayStation Plus.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of Destiny, I can't even play it right now anyway because rest in peace to my Xbox. The damn thing got fried somehow. I think an electrical storm took it out.
Oh boy. But again,
Yeah,
what is
rest in peace Xbox. Your girl Kyra's got
a
to get
new
a new
one?
console.
Not, but what does those massively multiplayer online games do? What do these fighting games do? Bring people together. And
Exactly.
how do they help
And
social?
that's
How?
what I and that's what I like about modern consoles. Like they have the accessibility, the online, the bringing people together built in. Like that's what I've got on my Switch Lite, which is a pain in the ass with its battery life, but we're not
Hmm.
talking about that.
Right.
My Switch Lite, I have friends on there. I don't personally play online with my friends. I do actually on my Switch, I do have that option if I want to. And just knowing that I have friends on there is like super, super cool.
Oh yeah, same with PSN. I mean, I've got, like I said, friends out there that I've got on other forms of social media too. and vice versa. Other friends on social media that are on PSN too. It's like it brings people together, and and with these consoles having great accessibility, shout out to Super Blind Man again for help working on the PS5 accessibility.
Yeah.
Um, they did a good job with that, and I feel that
Yeah.
online gaming is only going to grow and get bigger and better with each console generation. So, Kyra, do you have any?
And go ahead.
I was going to say, do you have any examples of experiences that you might have had having to do with any type of online jerk that might have been giving you trouble and you had to tell them off? And
I've had more than my fair share of that. I cannot tell you how many people are on my blocked list for Facebook alone.
oh yeah, I mean, with me on PSN, oh my god, there's a lot of them on my block list.
Oh my god, cuz like it's not just the creepers. It's people I used to call my
Hmm.
friends who just like who start spamming me messages being all, "Hey, Kyra, how are you? Hey, Kyra, how are you?" Multiple ones in a row, and it's like,
Hmm.
"Come on, dude. I'm trying to do my homework. You got to leave me alone."
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I'll be, now that my friends know not to when I'm not online or doing gaming or whatever, they know I'm doing something else, so they don't, and I've, you know, but as for like, people I've had to block, like I said, I've had to block trolls, I've had to block people
I've had to
for,
block I've had to block trolls, former lovers, former friends, people who have
hmm
harassed me in the past in person. I've had to I've had to block randos. Those I've had to block so many people. And here's the other thing. That I've been blocked too. I actually got removed from a Pokemon Go group because I tried to initiate an online trade with someone and I couldn't decide what I wanted, so she let me go. And then next thing I know, I go and check Pokemon Go. I go and check the Pokemon Go group. It doesn't exist anymore, or at least not for me. What happened was they decided, oh, she come we what happened was they just decided they didn't like me anymore. So they got rid of me.
oh
I still to
wow,
this day do not know what happened because the only thing that happened was I wasted 5 minutes of someone's life for
a
that night.
Pokemon. All right, let me ask you this. What are your thoughts on online gaming, and how these overprotective parents can use it? Okay, you can have your online gaming, but we get to monitor the chat. We get to, and I'm not talking about being in the chat and just being moderators, kind of like how Nightbot would do. I'm talking about parents who would literally want the voice chat set up to where like it would be like on a speakerphone, where they could hear what's being said and intervene if needed as well.
Ooh, that is such a hard one because it honestly depends on the parent and depends on the child in that circumstance.
Right, it's a case by case basis.
I
Um,
mean, because there are some parents, you and I both know people who, for some people, that would be necessary.
right,
But
yes,
we also know people that would be like, no, fuck you. I'm not letting you access my chats like that.
exactly. I mean, I wouldn't, I wouldn't,
I wouldn't
I
I
wouldn't.
would,
No,
I mean,
no, I would go ballistic. If it
if
were
it were me,
me,
I would not let my mother or my stepdad or any of my uh,
right,
parents access my online because I don't get online with people like that. They know I can be trusted.
right, exactly. I mean, with me, even when I started online gaming, yeah, my family was a little bit leery because it was new. It was a new thing for them. I was in my early 20s, but they were old school. You know what I mean? That old school
Oh yeah,
mentality of,
both of us
okay,
old school. Fun fact: Tim's, I mean not Tim. I'm sorry. We'll have to edit that out. Blind's mom and my mom and stepdad, they all know each other.
Oh yeah.
That's how old school. That's how old school. Our families are.
Oh yeah. I mean, but back to what we were with online. When I first got it, there, my family, like, who are you talking to out there? What's going on? And they thought I was talking to self, and I'm like, no, I'm online. I'm having to deal with a douchebag.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, okay. And then they eventually figured it out, you know. But now with the way it is today, you've got PSN and Xbox Live and the Nintendo Switch Online. You know,
And honestly, I think the easiest way to insert yourself into those situations without violating the child's privacy is
mhm.
make sure that you are friends with your child or your parent on whatever gaming online gaming network they use. That way,
Right,
if there's a problem, they can come to you and be all, "Mom, Dad, I'm being harassed by someone." Leave it, Joshi. Leave it. We'll have to edit that out. Sorry. Um, or you can, or if you suspect something's going wrong, you can send them a message on their profile and
hey,
be like,
so and so's bothering me. Here's who it is. Go get them, and they can take action.
or if you, the parent, suspect something's wrong, you can be like, "Hey, I think something's going on. Something's going wrong? Am I right? Am I wrong?" Yada da da
Right, and you're
da.
not violating the kid's privacy. You're not violating their space, because I know of some people. Again, I'm not going to name drop, but I do know of some people that if their space were to be violated in that sense, they would go into a rage because they would get so
Oh yeah, I'm
they
one
would
of those
just
people.
get
Like,
so invested into that, and they see it as an escape from whatever issues they may be having, or they may you know what I mean.
yeah,
I mean, they might see it as an escape, and some parents, again, who are very protective, would want to have that speakerphone chat in place, which I'm sure there's a way to do it. It is. It's just called rig it to where the chat comes to the TV,
yeah,
and then they know what's going on. And again, that if that user is someone that uses online gaming as a form of to escape things that might be going on, or again to improve their social interaction, or as a way to vent, that ain't good to the person, because it again their parents then know, then, oh, I'm
yeah,
gonna tell so and so's therapist or whoever, and oh god, you know what I mean.
yeah,
That's why I like that suggestion of, okay, if they have, like, again, with me this didn't apply, and I know with you this didn't apply, but if the kid is younger, okay, if the console is a family console, all you do is you go in, let the kid make his account, which you can make sub accounts now where the parent can monitor the child, which is a good thing. Again, make a master account, be friends with the child, and then do it that way.
yeah.
Oh yeah. So all in all, would you say as a whole, do you think online gaming helps someone's social skills?
Yes, yes, I do. I mean, it has its ups and downs, but for the
Yes, it
most part,
does.
I would agree with that statement.
I would too, and I think that the online gaming, it's only going to get better as time goes on,
Yeah.
and I feel like time is only going to improve on it. And I want to say this before we close out
Hmm.
and prepare to do our own thing. I want to say that, yeah, if you want to have your kid play online, don't hesitate to allow them to experience it, even if you have to go in and monitor, as the parent or guardian have to monitor the child's activity,
Yeah.
in some form of way, to keep them safe. Now, if they're an adult and you're having to monitor them, something's up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if they're wanting to experience online gaming in a way that's safe, let them do it. Just be careful and make sure they're not being bullied or trolled. And if so, take necessary action to prevent that.
Yeah, and also
Um,
keep an eye on what your kids are playing. I mean, make sure you set limits to what they can and cannot play. I mean, obviously at the end of the day, it's up to the parent what the kid can play. But, you know, I grew up in a household where my mom where like I didn't know that what the Playboy Bunny was, so I thought, okay, why would a why would a game about being in a mansion be rated adults only? And then my friend explained to me what the Playboy Bunny was and what the Playboy Mansion was, and I'm like, oh, that's why. And if I had tried to get that game for myself to play with, my
Nope.
brother would have went ballistic.
Oh yeah. With me, I grew up. I mean, again, we kind of grew up around the same time, me and Kyra. So okay, Mortal Kombat, the original Mortal Kombat came out, right?
Yeah.
And you know how controversial it was. Oh, it's bloody, it's violent, it's da da da.
Yeah.
I was playing the home console version, the Genesis version, with the blood. However, I knew, and
Yeah.
my brother knew it was only a game. It's not real. You don't imitate it. You don't duplicate it.
But this was also right before ESRB became a thing.
Yes,
Keep in
this.
mind.
Yes. So I've seen gaming evolve from that to the ESRB to what it is now, and I mean, Kyra, you've seen it after the ESRB was formed,
Well, I mean, I was in diapers when ESRB was formed.
right? But with that, that's another tool to help parents. But with the whole online thing, for
Yeah.
pre-online, you could be a little more vigilant because you didn't have the internet in there. But now, when that started getting into the mix, you
Yeah.
had to start being a little more watchful because not only do you have the game to worry about, but you have to worry about what the kids are getting into online. Because I'll tell you right now, as an adult, I ran into some pretty steamy situations online that I had to think quick and block people because they were saying things that would not be acceptable for a form of this nature.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, Kyra, in closing, you think online gaming improves your social skills? Real quick to summarize, how do you think online gaming as a whole, based on what we went over today, improves one's social skills?
It's not just online gaming, but I think gaming as a whole just improves your social skills. You're interacting with other people. You're interacting with other skill sets with other people. It honestly just depends on what the game is, what type, whether it's offline, online, line, what platform it's on. I mean, the possibilities are endless, but yes, online gaming definitely improves social skills and skill sets, and so does offline gaming.
Yes, I agree with your points, and I agree that online gaming, again, it's going to evolve, it's going to get better, and it's going to get to a point where it might be able to be used for some sort of therapeutic use or for support for if someone has needs like emotional support or something, they could do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to get to that point, you got to eliminate the cyberbullying and all the trolling and all the nastiness that goes along with it. So, do you have any closing remarks before we sign off?
I just wanna, I guess, you know, let's just remember that gaming in general brings people together, whether it's a simulation, an MMO, or just a plain old video game. Whether it's a game you play on your computer, a game you're streaming on being on YouTube or Twitch, or it's a game you're just playing on your PlayStation or Xbox. The game brings you together.
Oh yeah, even just as conversation pieces, even for nostalgia pieces. Um, Even that. So, okay, with that being said, this has been another successful podcast. I want to thank everybody for listening on whatever platform you're on, be it Twitch, YouTube, Anchor, Spotify, Radio Public, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, Pocket Cast, Overcast. This will be available on all of those platforms. And as always, if you like what you hear, hit that follow button here at twitch.tv/Blind Metal Gamer, and be sure to subscribe to youtube.com/Blind Metal Gamer, and follow the Blindside Podcast on Spotify and other platforms so you will not miss a single episode. With that being said, so long everyone, and peace out. All right. So, what do you think? Do you think we need to put a explicit label on that?
Yes. Also, you're still live, so you're going to have to edit out the very end.
Thank you for listening. This has been another episode of the Blindside Podcast. You can find the Blindside Podcast on a plethora of platforms, including Spotify, YouTube, Pocket Cast, Castbox, TuneIn Radio, and much more. Be sure to follow on Spotify so you will not miss a single episode.